say just a couple of things. You can set your stuff right there. This is kind of a bittersweet one for me, being the last concert that I will be doing with seventh grade. I told them when we were in the warm-up room, honestly, I am just so happy to have this group to be finishing out my career with for first-year players. And I would like all of you, if you just took just a minute to reflect on those sounds that you heard at the very beginning of the year. And some of you might not have had sounds because if you had clarinet players in your group or saxophone players, maybe 20 minutes into it, they still weren't quite putting the pieces all together, and so they weren't necessarily making sounds. But right at the very beginning, so this was a ground zero start for these folks, and you think about that first concert that they played a lot of those standard tunes, Mary Had a Little Lamb and all that, and we have gone all the way up with this crew, all the way up with the music that you're hearing just a few short months later. It's a huge, huge tribute to their enthusiasm, their willingness to continue to try, and their curiosity about how much further they can go. So that I think that the benefits of music really speak for itself when you see what these young people have done this year. Just as always, and these are our unsung heroes here, the people in the back, Miss Jillian and her crew that are up back there that put the microphones together, and they help to set up the stage and just keep everything running smoothly, and usually they don't get a lot of credit, so we're going to give them thunderous applause right now. And I do want to acknowledge one of our high school students who has been with us, even though she is an orchestra member. She is a violinist in the high school orchestra, and she has always come and helped with the orchestra concerts. And this year, she has been to every band concert that we have done at Holmes and has been running around doing whatever is needed. And she's just, she's an amazing person and a fantastic citizen, and I think a lot of our students don't know how hard she works to make their concerts work a little better and run more smoothly. Would you just step out your hand so we can connect a face to the names? Finally, the lady behind the scenes, really, for Stevenson High School in the music department that I've been so thrilled and just blessed to be able to work with, who always helps out with facilitating our concerts, lets us use an awful lot of her percussion stuff, and just is in general a huge supporter of all students, not just the ones that she is teaching in the classroom. So if we could just bring her out here too. This is Heather Wickman of Stevenson High School. I think I've talked enough, and we're going to turn this over to Molly, but just know that this year has been a tremendous joy for me to work with your children, so I'm so glad that you brought them to me this year.
very modest. Last week we had the honor to the Stevenson administrators and myself to recognize two, I don't know the words to describe them. They're phenomenal, they're amazing, they're irreplaceable. Both Miss Wickman and Miss Kilgore are retiring. You can see more smiles on their face compared to probably September because they are just glowing in the fact that they have new adventures awaiting. But both of them, it's been amazing working with both of them through the years. They are amazing. I think you can see by that the encouragement, the enthusiasm. I hope all of you continue this passion that both of these women have had about the love of music. I hope you continue that with your life, whether you do it in 8th grade, 9th grade. I would hope you continue it. Again, it's hard to replace both of them. We'll do our best, but again, can we, Ms. Wickman, come out too? Because some of you probably have some older children that have been here too. But if we can give both of these women an amazing applause for